All right, everybody, hail and welcome back to another episode of Midgard Musings. My name's Jesse, and I'm the host here on this channel. This is your first time and you're interested in learning about things pertaining to Norse heathenry, Germanic paganism as a whole, what is quite often in modern times referred to as outrúnaður. I invite you to please subscribe to my channel right down here below. Check the description area for all the ways that you can support Midgard Musings as well as my contact information. And then once you have subscribed and you don't want to miss anything, ding that bell and you'll be notified every time that I upload new content. Alright everybody, so welcome back to this video. It's been a while, it's been a little bit over a week since I put out a video, and I apologize for that in advance. But this whole COVID thing, this whole quarantine thing, even though the world is starting to slowly get back to some sense of, you know, whatever the new normal is or whatever, takes its toll on us and a lot of us in different ways, and I am no different. So I just haven't been feeling it. You know, I just haven't been feeling the urge to want to stand here in front of everybody and talk about some things. So that's my own thing to deal with, and I'm glad to be back here today to talk to you all about a very important part of heathen practice, I think. Something that gets quite often overlooked in modern times, and quite often it even gets like discounted or discredited as not something that our arch-heathen ancestors would have done or did or had any practice in doing, and that is kneeling in sort of adoration or in respect or in reverence to our gods or to the sacred. Now, I'm bringing this up now because I'm sure, like a lot of people out there, I see plenty of content go around in social media about whether it's a meme or whether it's some sort of image pulled off of the internet somewhere, and it's representing this very machismo sort of prostrate guy or gal and very rugged terrain and very rugged sort of just aesthetic of things, and the Vikings and the gods and this and that, and then it's how and then there's something that's like, I don't kneel before my gods, I don't ask my gods for anything, I stand before them, I walk beside them, this, that, thing, and the other. And I wanted to bring up this whole kneeling thing in heathenry specifically to sort of hopefully help educate the masses, or educate folks, especially new folks coming into this, because I'm going to admit before everybody that I was kind of one of those people at one point. When I first came to heathenry, I was like, yes, I don't have to prostrate myself before the gods, I don't have to kneel, I don't have to bow, I don't have to subject myself to the gods, because the gods are fallible, they are more like equal to me and this and that. And I'm going to tell you guys a lot of what I do here on this channel, as I'm sure you know, for those that may be just tuning in or that are new to this channel, I mix a lot of different things with my own practice, okay? I'm not what you would call a hardcore recon heathen, and I'm also not one of these, kind of, new age, neo-pagan type either, that likes to take a bunch of the Germanic paganism approaches and just blend it into a modern Wicca aesthetic, right? I'm not one of those Wicca-true types. Nothing against those types of folks, and if you're one of them, and if you find your spirituality there, nothing against it. I'm just saying that's not me. So I'm kind of like in the middle of the road. I lean more towards the historical stuff because I feel that it was, we build from the past towards the future. Our roots have to start somewhere, and we have to grow from our roots in order to learn. But so I wanted to bring this up because as I grew in my heathenry, and as I continue to grow in my heathenry, I learned that the aspect of kneeling before the gods, right, is something that our arch-heathen ancestors were very much familiar with and very into doing, because you got to think how the Germanic society at the time was a hierarchical society, and so the idea of subjugating yourself before, or not subjugating, but subjecting yourself before authority. There was a very clear social structure. Everybody was not equal to each other, right? You had your chieftains, you had the elite, you had the thralls, you had your working class, you had everybody in all mixes of life, walks of life, whatever. And no one was equal to each other, right? The elite, the nobility, the higher ranking individuals of society were not considered equal to the lower class or the middle class even. So whenever you are presented in front of your chieftain even, or the ruler, the king, whatever it might be, whatever authoritarian figure existed at the time, it was out of respect to bow or kneel or whatever towards that figure, and the gods not being any less than that, because the gods are of the sacred, right? We are talking about honor and respect being bestowed upon those in authority positions on the profane level. So how could we deduce any less that the gods, being part of the sacred, would not have gotten the same or more amount of benevolence being shown to them? So to think that our ancient ancestors did not kneel before the gods or even prostrate themselves before the gods, and whether that be physical idolic representations of the gods or what have you, it would behoove us to think that they wouldn't do that, right? And we don't even have to think or surmise that they would have done it, because there are enough historical sightings or references that we have written down that we can prove that this was done, right? And I'm the kind of I'm the kind of person, and I'm the type of individual in my own heathen practices where, if I'm going to come before the gods in ritual, if I'm going to bloat to the gods, whether it be with a collective, with my tribe, or whether I do something of my own personal, private practice, whatever it may be, that I am not going to enter into that sort of agreement, and I'm not entering into that sort of cycle, that gifting cycle. I'm not going to give to the gods and expect a gift from them with any sort of attitude that would be less than humility and out of respect for the gods. So whether I kneel, whether I bow, whatever I do, whatever my physical posture is going to be a physical outward appearance of my respect and honoring the fact that they are superior than I am, and always will be, because they are in the sacred, and as fallible as they may be throughout the lore, and as many things as we read about, and how relatable we can find ourselves with gods like Odin and Thor, or Frigg, or Loki, or Tyr, or just any of the other gods in our pantheon, as relatable as they may seem because of their various shortcomings and mistakes and things that they've kind of done to muck up the works, as you would. It does not change the fact that they are part of what is considered the sacred. They are beyond us, they are above us, they are superior to us as human, as mankind, as existing in the profane. So I don't walk around anymore thinking that the gods are equal to me, or that they walk beside me in the way that I used to think. If anything, when it comes to the sacred, if I look at any figure as walking beside me and being beside me now, it is my ancestors. It is the ancestors of my family that have come before me, that have walked throughout time and have been through my familial line to ensure that luck is carried on with myself, with me and my ancestors, and hopefully they continue to stay with me and I walk with them and honor them, so that way that luck continues on to my descendants and whoever else I encounter and share and tie weird with. So I wanted to sort of bring this up in front of everybody today. It's not going to be a very long video, but I hope that it's going to be a video of somewhat of an education. And I don't come out here very often and tell you guys, or actually I don't come out here and tell anybody at all, like, you know what, you're doing it wrong, you're being a bad heathen, you're not heathening right, you're not paganing right, you didn't do it the right way, or whatever, because I'm not in no position to do that. Nobody out here is in a position to do that. What I am doing today, though, is I'm bringing up to some folks who may be getting into this, especially new heathens, because you're going to be sort of it's going to be like a romanticized experience, right? You're going to be enthused, you're going to learn about all these things, and you might see a lot of things that make you think and that influence you to think in a certain way. I'm going to be including some stuff at the end of this video, sort of like in the credits section, of the sources that I'm pulling from that show that our ancestors, for all that we know, that yes, for sure, they did have an idea and a sense of bowing before the gods, bowing before the sacred, kneeling, even laying down flat and prostrating yourself in front of these figures and these gods and goddesses in the sacred. So I want you guys to stick around the end of the video and check out those sources for yourselves. Also check down in the description below for the sources that you can read and learn up on yourself and build up your education, you know. Be the heathen that you want to be for the better growth of yourself and your tribe if you're tied to one. Always considering the fact that what you do echoes on into eternity, so you know your deeds will become part of, you know, your descendants' luck. So you want to sort of set that next generation up for good things. You don't want to set them up for failure. And I feel that part of that has to do with our connection with the sacred. It has to do with how we interact with the sacred. We don't want to, you know, I mean, let's just get real, you know, like, I mean, if you were dealing with somebody who was, like, you know, above you in societal class, or somebody who's higher ranking than you wouldn't just, oh, hey, what's up, buddy, and just start, you know, high-fiving each other and, you know, whatever. You would at least at first present yourself to them in a way that shows that you respect them, you know. Now, does that mean that you're, you know, you want to, like, brown nose somebody or kiss ass in a way, excuse the language, but you don't want to get into that. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we are talking about is showing due respect and the due benevolence that the gods demand. And I don't mean demand in a way that they, you better do it or else kind of thing, but like, come on, you know, read the stories, read the lore, look at the great accomplishments, these sacred figures who we choose to worship or venerate or respect or honor or revere, whatever the word you want to put to it. Those behaviors, those actions, it is totally fine for you if you want to kneel or bow to the sacred in that way and in that outward show of respect. If you don't want to, I'm sure nobody's going to hold it against you, but don't think that you are being a, you know, weaker heathen or a lesser heathen because you choose to do that sort of thing and act in that sort of way. If anything, you are probably doing something that shows that you are observing a time-honored tradition from your ancestors, which I think, in my opinion, would you know, show you as someone in the God's favor. So take all this for your consideration. Again, don't tie me to anything. Check your sources yourself. Do your own research and let me know down in the comments what you all think of the practice of kneeling or bowing or in any sort of physical way lowering yourself to the sacred, to our gods and our goddesses. I'm anxious to hear what all of you think, and I'm sure everybody else that watches these videos and comments down below is going to be curious to hear what everyone else thinks about it as well. So thank you all again for tuning into today's video. I do have something special planned. I just got something in the mail today from a very good friend of mine up in Vermont. You guys may know Matthew Petrie at Odin's Beard Woodworking. Got some items in the mail from him that I want to do something really special with, so stay tuned for more information about that. But again, be sure to check out the description below for all the ways that you can support Midgard Musings. There's a link tree description. There's like a dozen different ways. Merchandise you can buy, donations, all the different, you know, Patreon, all that kind of stuff. Check it all out. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, watch the videos, share them around, comment. That's the best support that everybody here could give me. So thank you all again so much for watching this video. I hope to do more of these on a more regular basis, get back into my sort of weekly routine, you know. It's just been a little weird lately. But I think we're getting back to, or we're getting into a space now where we're you know, feeling a little bit more comfortable and getting used to, and you know, getting used to things. So apologize again for the long delay between videos, but I appreciate everyone's support and sticking around and watching. So hail, thank you all, and I'll see you in the next video.